Scripture, which I hope they all are. Amen. Some become more familiar than others. Mark chapter 14, we'll start reading it. Verse 32. It says, "And they came to the place which was named Gethsemane. He said to his disciples, Sit here, while I pray. And he taketh with him Peter, James, and John, and began to be sore amazed, and to be very heavy. And said unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch. And he went forth a little, and fell on the ground, and prayed that if it be possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible unto thee. Take away this cup from me, nevertheless, not what I will, but thy will. And he said, cometh and findeth them, and he cometh and findeth them sleeping, and said unto Peter, Simon, sleepest thou? Couldst thou not watch 1 hour? Watch ye and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak. And again he went away and prayed, and spake the same words. And when he returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. Neither wist they what to answer him. And he cometh the third time, and said unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. It is enough. The hour is come. Behold, the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise up, let us go. Lo, he that betrayeth me is at hand." And thank you for standing for the reading of the Word. The first part of this text that I read says, "And they came to the place which was named Gethsemane. And he said unto his disciples, Sit here while I pray." And then in verse 33 says, "And he taketh with him Peter, James, and John." And I thought, as I began to think about that, I began to think about the importance of being with God. Spending time with God.
Oh, that's right.
And I thought yesterday, we had a pretty hectic couple of weeks at work, and I told someone at work, I said, I'm not going to do nothing this weekend. Me and Kathy's going to get out and we're going to do something, go somewhere. But Laura and Lester, yesterday, they were able to go see Linda and Sister Linda, and so they asked us if we'll keep Kinley. Or asked Sister Kathy, and so naturally she said yes. And so we were there, and we had Kinley, and so Colin came over to the house, and they were playing around in the yard and just having a good time. And I was back there working on a truck. And after a while, Sister Kathy came in and said, the kids want to go to the park. They want you to go with them. And I had a lot to do. Nothing that was pressing, but I had some things that I committed to. And I looked out there and I seen them playing, and I said, give me just a few minutes. And I closed everything up, and we went to the park, and we had a good time. But when we got there, we found out that there were several more grandparents that had the same idea we had. There's a lot of little kids and a lot of old people. And all the kids were doing the same thing, and all the old people were doing the same thing. We were sitting and watching. And so we were sitting there, and there was a couple fellas, and they were probably 8 to 10 years older than I was, assuming, I guess. And they were standing there talking, and they had their little grandkids, and one of them's daughter was there with them, the children's mother. And he told the other fella, he said, I've not spent much time with them since COVID started. And he said, I've been away from them. And he said, she brought them in this weekend, and he said, these couple days has wore me out. And I thought I could relate to what he was saying. But the thing was, we were together.
Right.
We were spending time together.
Right.
And no matter how important the things that I thought I needed to get done were,
Right.
spending time with those children were more important.
Yeah.
Now that we don't get to spend as much time with them as we used to. And as I began to think about that yesterday, and after they left, and I came into the house, and we got back home, and Laura came to pick Kinley up, and I came in the house, and there was games out, and there was Legos out, and there was all kinds of stuff out, and they left, and Sister Kathy said it's been a long time since my living room looked this way. And I looked at her and I said, but don't you miss it just a little bit? And I began to think about that after I went back outside, and I thought, sometimes I wonder if God don't just say, I miss it just a little bit.
Think about it. Think about it.
I began to think about that, and I related back during Christmas, and I got up and I preached, and I talked about how things had changed this year.
Right.
Things were different. Christmas night came, and with the way it fell on the weekend, and all the grandkids went home, and none of them stayed all night with Mama and Papa like they used to, and because we're getting older, things change.
Right.
And I thought they don't see the importance that we see in the time together. And I thought, and if we're not careful, we'll do the same thing with God.
Right.
We will allow a space of time to come in between our visits with Him. And I thought it's important that we realize the time that we need to spend with God. You see, as I said in the text, Jesus realized that the time was upon Him when He went to the garden to pray.
Right.
He saw the urgency to go to the garden and to pray and talk with the Father. You see, He realized that the Father had a will. But Jesus knew that He knew why he came to earth. He knew why He was here.
Right.
He knew that the time was upon Him. But even though He was God in the flesh, He was still at I guess you would say, the fleshly side of Him, the part that realized the things that He was fixing to have to go through, Brother Ronnie, as He cried out to the Father. He said, Lord, if it be Thy will, let this cup pass from me, but not my will, but Your will, Lord. And I thought a lot of times we got to realize it's not our will, but it's God's will. It's not what we're desiring, but it's what God's desiring. I thought Sister Kim was testifying a while ago, and I thought if there's anybody that likes shiny new vehicles any better than me, then they're in bad shape. Because I thought if I come to a stoplight, and I think it was Ronnie Cornett told Ike one time that if you're going to put a car lot somewhere, you put it at an intersection. That way they've got to stop, Brother Greg, and when they stop, they're going to look on that car lot. That's why they put them on the corners of places. That way they can draw the attention. And I thought, I prefer General Motors automobiles. But I thought if I was sitting down here at the red light on the corner of 52 and the bypass, I'm going to look up on that hill. I thought I like the looks of the new Jeeps. I like the looks of the new trucks. And I thought the other one out there, I don't glance at too much. But I thought, but yet there's just things that we look at, things that we begin to desire. And I thought if we're not careful, we can allow those desires to overtake us.
Come on now.
I thought we can get ourselves into situations that we can't, that we're not able to bless the Lord like we need to be. Sister Kim was talking a while ago, Lord, help me live below my means so that I can help others. And I thought, and it's so easy for us to get into the situation where we're living week by week by week, and I thought we're not able to help others, and we're not able to bless the Lord like we need to. We're not able to help the church, and I thought, yeah, we're giving what we're required, but are we going above in those things? Are we blessing the Lord like we know to? I thought there's comes a place when we spend time with God, we can allow these other things to roll past us.
That's right.
I thought I have like I said, but Jesus, he knew the urgency of the hour.
Right.
And I thought, he took all of his, it says up here in verse 31, 31, says that when he went to the Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. But then it says in verse 3, and he taketh with him Peter, James, and John. So I think the way I read that, all the disciples were with him. But he took Peter, James, and John just a little bit further with him. And the reason for that is he wanted them to be there to help him. Right. But the flesh inside of them got back, and they didn't, like I said, they didn't see the urgency of the hour. Yeah. They didn't see the urgency of the time that they were there. They knew that Jesus said that there was going to come a time that the Son of Man was going to be lifted up, that he's going to be crucified, that he's going to leave them, and he's going to die in 3 days. They knew all of that, but they didn't realize how soon this was fixing to take place. And I thought they didn't realize that he had them there to pray with them. But you see, spending time with Jesus is the most important thing that we can do. Yeah. But yet many times it is the most neglected thing that we can do. You know what? A lot of times we read that and we want to give Peter, James, and John a hard time for falling asleep. But I thought, how many times have we prayed and fell asleep? I thought I never will forget several years ago, my cousin Michael, his wife Darla, worked there at Uncle Charlie's with us. And she showed up one morning at about 8 o'clock. Now, production started at 6. And she came in and she was in a hurry. She got her stuff on to go to work, and she got back in there, and she was sorely embarrassed for being late. But then, whenever I came by, she told me, she said, I'm sorry for being late. She said, but worse than that, she said, I got down to pray before I came to work, and I went to sleep. And I woke up, and it was done past time to go to work. And, and we, some of us there, we ribbed her a little bit and over it. But I thought, the thing is, she did get up. And she done more than a lot of us did. She got down to pray. Come on now. But a lot of us got in a hurry and we went on to work. She saw the urgency of taking time, even though she went to sleep while she was down doing it, Brother Ralph. She saw the need to get down and talk to the Lord before she started her day. And although so many times and I'm as guilty as anybody, jumping in the car and saying a prayer and praying while I go to work, and I thought, but not really getting down and taking time for God. A crisis comes, and that's a different story. But I thought we don't need to wait for the crisis.
That's right.
In order to have communion with God. We need to talk to the Lord now. I thought we need that time now. I thought, like I said, we desire to be with our children. I thought yesterday I seen every one of mine. Laura and Lester and David and Audrey and both the grandkids. I don't see them every day. But I did yesterday. And I thought, how many times did God say, I didn't see all my children today? Or I didn't talk with all my children today. I thought, but I want to make sure that I talk with him. With the pressures of the day behind us so many times, we'll come in and we'll go up, and then we'll come time to go to bed, and we've not prayed. And by then we're so sleepy that we can't. Come on. I thought we need to make sure we have time with God. Jesus said in John chapter 9, verse 4, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh, and no man work. Yeah. I wonder if there's ever a time we've got to be in a hurry, and we've got to work. It's today. It's while it's day, because night is swiftly coming. I thought it was, if there was ever a time that we need to, that it's quickly growing night, it's the time that we're living in now. And I thought that's why it's so important to spend the time with the Master. Spend that time with the Master. I want to have a desire to spend time with him. I thought, whenever I get off work of the evening, Brother Ronnie, I don't like to go nowhere. I don't want to have to go to Walmart. There's occasions, and there's sometimes that I'll have maybe I'll be working on somebody's vehicle, and I need to run to O'Reilly's or somewhere to pick up a part. And I don't want to do that when I have to come home. Because I have a desire to be home and see my sweetheart. I've been away from her all day. Yeah, I might have called her sometime during the day, but when it's time to go home, I want to go home because I desire to be with her. And we ought to have that same desire to be with God. Nothing should come in between us when it comes time to spending time with God. I've been trying to, the last couple of weeks, I thought a couple of weeks ago, I called Brother Sparks in the middle of the day, and I don't even know what it's about. And someone at work, I don't have Facebook, and someone at work said, "You made your dad's day." I said, "What did I do?" They said, "You called him." And I'll tell you what, that hit me like a rock, Brother Ronnie.
Come on.
And I thought, I don't call him that often. So in the last couple of weeks, I've been trying, Brother Danny, sometime during the week other than a church night to make sure that, whether it's just to ask him something, or just to tell him something that's going on, or send him a picture or something, just something to let him know that I am thinking about him, that he's still Dad, that I still love him. And I thought, he knows I do, and he knows we get busy, and I thought, but it's so easy to take things for granted. And I thought it's easy for us to take God for granted. I thought He wants to have that communion with us. I thought, you know what, we enjoy coming together. We enjoy spending time together. And I thought we are to desire to be with God, just the same as we desire our children to be with us. I thought I want to spend more time with Him. I thought Jesus desires to have us visit with Him. He longs for us to pray and ask of Him things.
Yes.
I remember when I was a kid, and I look back now, Brother Ronnie, and I wonder sometimes how they done what they done. But I remember being a kid and asking for something for Christmas. And I don't very seldom remember ever asking for something for Christmas that I didn't get it. They made a way somehow or another, just because it was Christmas, to get it. And when we was kids, a bicycle was not as cheap as they are now. Most of them were made in the USA, and they were a lot better bicycles than they are now too. And but a bicycle was not a cheap thing. And I remember asking for a bicycle, and I remember coming in there on Christmas morning, like I said, and Brother Marks never would let us have nothing before Christmas morning. I mean, that was Christmas Day, and that's when you got it. And coming in there and turning on the living room light, and there'd be a shiny new bicycle sitting under the tree. And I look back and we asked Him, and He made a way, made a provision that we got it. I look back on what He made and what He brought home when we was kids, and I don't know how in the world we even had shoes to wear, because He never made a whole lot of money. But yet God made a way. God provided. But we asked, and He desired to make sure that we were happy. And I thought after I got children of my own, and they would ask for things, Brother Harold, the look and the joy on their face when they opened those things they asked for, and seeing that the joy that it gave me inside. And now that I've got grandchildren, and the joy that it gives me when they tear into those things, or if they come to the house and they ask me to do something with them, and I do it, and I see the excitement on their face, and then I begin to think, how much does God enjoy it when we ask of Him things, and He blesses us with those things, and we return and we show Him the favor of those things. I thought God desires that communion with us. And I thought He desires to spend time with us. I thought, and a lot of times, Luke chapter 12 and 32, it says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give to you the kingdom."
Yeah.
I thought He finds pleasure in blessing you. I thought He finds pleasure in offering and giving you things. But I thought more, He finds pleasure in just simply talking with you. And I thought, I don't know about you, but I want to talk to Him more. I want to talk to Him more. I thought I want to spend more time with Him. And I thought it's so easy, like I said, to get caught up. And I thought, last couple of weeks I've probably Well, I know I have. I spend more time at work than I have at home. I mean, it's just, time we go in and I start a half hour or so before, everybody else does, and usually I quit half hour or so after everybody else goes home. And, but I thought, with all of that, the time I put 50, 60 hours in, and I know some of you guys put way more than that, but that's a lot of time. And I thought we put all that because we gotta have a job. But I thought we've also gotta have life. How much time are we giving?
That's right.
How much time are we spending with the Lord? Are we talking with Him? I thought I remember my Uncle George, before Mama died, and he's got that store in Ravenna, and wherever Mama lived, George stopped at Mama's every day on his way home. He stopped every day.
Yeah.
And he spent time with her. Everybody didn't have that privilege. Well, Harold works out and don't know where he's going to be, and some of the others, but he stopped every day. And I thought, if you went and asked him today, do you ever regret a time when you stopped? He'd say, oh no, I'd like to be able to do it again.
Yeah.
He'd like to be able to stop one more time,
Yes.
but he can't.
Right.
And I thought, there's not one time that I've ever spent with family that I would take back.
Amen.
But I thought, how more important is it to spend time with God?
Yeah.
As they get us a song tonight, I hope I'll be able to.
Good, buddy.
But I thought it preached my heart.
Yeah.
Just a simple thought, very simple thought. But I thought God desires to spend time with you. I thought I desire to spend time. I thought it's getting spring, and I should have done been fishing, but I haven't got to go this year. Kyla told me the other day, said, Papa, we need to go fishing. I said, I know we do. We've got all this other stuff we got to take care of. But I thought I'm going to have to lay it down one day and take him fishing.
Yes.
And I thought it's important to him. And I thought, what's important to God He's wanting you to do? What's He asking you to do? And I thought, we go out Rick Carter Pond sometime. Yesterday he said, we need to go back out to that pond, because I caught a big fish out there.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I thought, there are places that we need to go because we've had big things happen. I thought, I've had great blessings from God before. How did I get them? By being obedient to God.
Yeah.
By spending time with God. And I thought, when we begin to pull away from God, we find that emptiness. And I thought we find those times when we're not as close to Him as we once were.
Yes.
I thought, I want more of God tonight.
Jesus.
I want to spend more time with God tonight. As they give us a song, maybe you got something, I don't know.